All right. How's it going, everybody? Analog Kid here. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Analog Hour. All right. We are at episode 7. And I've been releasing these podcasts online every Tuesday for a bit. And I guess it's been 7 weeks. It's definitely been a little bit of a challenge to make something and put it out there every week and have it consistently become better. And I definitely would like to make this podcast become as good as possible and constantly improving. So definitely, if you can, wherever you're listening to this, please leave a comment so I know what you guys think. Love it or hate it. Please let me know. I would really appreciate that. And tell you the truth, it's really good for the podcast. And also, I just would like to hear what you guys think of what I'm doing. All right. So, tonight's guest, I started following this band here locally in Los Angeles. These guys are some of the most talented musicians that I've hung out with. And I really appreciate the time they spent with me. I feel really honored because, they are super talented. And I wish I could play like them maybe someday. So out here in LA, there is a really popular college called MI, Musicians Institute, and it's one of the most respected music schools on planet Earth. And this whole band they all came from that school. So they just rip. All of them rip at all their instruments, and they write some really cool songs. So I reached out to them and asked them if they would come over and have a little chat, and they obliged. So tonight I have Prussia coming down to chat, and it's not the country from Central Europe that was dissolved about 100 years ago. It's a band out of LA. And they really, really are very talented. And throughout the podcast, it's really embarrassing. The name of the singer is Shaylee, and I kept messing up her name. I kept calling her different names throughout the thing. I really, really apologize, Shaylee. I will not forget your name from now on. That is for sure, Shaylee. I apologize. But, we had a really good conversation, so I couldn't delete it, even though I messed up her name, which is really embarrassing. Well, you learn. What can you do? At least I won't do it anymore, I promise. So, here is Prussia, the band.
Running through your hair, won't you come on over and make this girl feel good? I might look like sugar, but I'll love you better than a bad girl would. Drink me up, I'm strong as whiskey. Got you waiting, wondering if I taste like candy. Won't you come on over, please make this girl feel good? I might look like sugar, but I'll love you better than a bad girl would. 'Cause I'm living for the late nights and your telephone calls. I'm living for waking up in your arms and saying I love you even though I don't. Come and get me, 'cause I never stay for long. Do me like you
first question right there. Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Analog Hour. And tonight I got a really cool band in the house. And started following these guys online. And they're really talented. And they're all, I don't know how to describe your music, but I guess I would call it like fusion, progressive fusion is what I came up with. What do you think? But so that's what I thought, and they're really talented. So I reached out to them and asked them if they wanted to talk with me. So here they are. I am with Prussia, the band.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pass the mic around and introduce yourselves. Start.
I am Shaylee Atkinson.
What do you do?
I'm the singer.
I'm Ludwig Braithen. I play one of the guitars in the band.
And put the mic right up there.
I'm Julian Ho. I play drums.
Oh, I'm Gabriel Cole, and I play il basso.
I'm Nate Rich, and I play the other guitar.
Right on.
There you go.
But
So-
I play the other guitar.
Oh, right.
So there's two guitar players, and I gotta say, you guys are really talented. And I
Thanks.
like your tone as well,
Yeah.
because I'm a guitar player. And
Yeah.
first of all, I wanted to ask, what's the deal with Prussia? What's the name about?
Shaylee,
All right.
take it away.
The answer to that.
So I am from a small town in Pennsylvania, and when we first started, it was me, Nate, and Julian, and I was trying to think of something that would connect us all, which I think what's kind of weirdly connects us all is that we're all from different places, so we all came to LA with a common dream of making it in the music industry.
Right on.
And so when I was looking at names, I looked at different places from different states from where we were from. So I looked up some places in Georgia and some places in California. And I kept coming back to this basically mall town in my home state that's called King of Prussia. And so
Ah.
I dropped the King of. And I kept Prussia. And it wasn't taken.
I see. Yeah, I thought it was the old nation that was comprised
Me
of comprised of modern day Austria
Yeah.
and
and
Mhm.
Germany. And
Germany.
Yeah.
But so it's King of Prussia in Pennsylvania.
I really love shopping, and that's basically there's just a mall in King
Ah,
of Prussia. It's called
I
King
see.
of Prussia Mall.
I see.
How
Yep.
deep?
So you started the band,
Kind of. Yeah,
the three of you.
The first song.
Yeah. So I wrote a song for a class that I was taking at MI, and I needed a band, and so I requested my friends help me for a scholarship actually, and then I won the scholarship.
All right.
No,
Thanks for that. I did not give them the
Sweet.
money, but I kept that one, and then I was like, hey, this is pretty cool.
So you went to MI for free? Is that what?
I wish.
Oh.
No, I got some help
I
from
see.
Stanley Clark.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it was his scholarship.
It was his scholarship, yeah.
That's sick. He's
So-
one of the best bass players that ever lived, right?
I
true.
know. We didn't have Gabe at the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the bass player of the band said otherwise,
Well,
but
I applied for that scholarship like 3 times. I applied for that scholarship like 3 times and never got it. So if Stanley Clark is listening to this,
Oh,
thanks.
well, she got it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's 'cause he's a
She's deserving. She's got a great voice.
Thank you.
And so it just came out of that song
Yeah. Yeah.
that you did. That's the train, by the way.
Oh.
A little
Somebody
earthquake.
was like really rocking out in the other room. Yeah, we had a song, and then actually the next song that we wrote together, not Lighthouse, was it's actually kind of crazy. I wrote these lyrics, and then Nate wrote this part, and I had this idea in my head of what I wanted the song to be, and then magically Nate's part literally just immediately lined up. It had like a key change in it, and I don't even know how that worked, but it magically came together.
And we were like, oh my God, we got to keep going. And then we found Gabe and Ludwig. And so the band kept going from there.
Sweet. So you guys are all from Musicians Institute, which is, for those who don't know, it's like a really prestigious music school in Hollywood, California, where like a lot of famous musicians have come from, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys are from like all over the place, huh?
Yeah. I'm actually from Santa Clarita, so I'm the only person who's kind of from Los Angeles.
Julian.
Yes, Julian. Yes. Hello.
Say, who are you?
But yeah, that's the one thing Shaylee mentioned that's pretty unique is everyone's from a different place.
Cool.
Nate, the guitar player, he's from Georgia. Gabe, our bass player, is from Venezuela. Shaylee's from Pennsylvania, and Ludwig, who also plays guitar, is from Sweden. So we kind of have this like really
Sweet.
diverse kind
Yeah.
of background, when it comes to like culture and stuff.
So who writes the songs mostly?
We all do.
I would say it's like a collaborative effort. There's definitely people who contribute big pieces to certain songs. Shaylee writes all the lyrics all the time. Because I don't want to try to write lyrics yet. She does her thing on that. We all arrange the songs,
Yeah.
So like someone will come in with a part, but we'll be like, hey, maybe we should like change the tempo, or maybe we should put this section here or move it here, and we all kind of try to be like producers, on the song.
Right on.
That's kind of how it works.
Cool. Are you still going to school out there in MI?
We all graduated around the same time, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, like within like
Couple years
a year or two of each other.
Right on.
But yeah, a lot of us actually work there now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're not trying to turn this into an MI commercial, but to be honest, we do work there. We went there. It would be a lie to say that it didn't help us like to get to where we are, and where we want to go. But yeah, that's
Right
the
on.
vibe.
And so let's go around the room and cool. So a guitar player, Nate, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I like your soloing, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
And put it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who inspired you to play guitar?
I usually give like 3 answers for this. The person that made me want to play guitar was Randy Rhoads when I was like 3 years old.
Oh man, I love Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, when I was
I love how you said that, man.
When I was like 3 years old, my dad I would make my dad play Crazy Train on repeat, and I don't know, I just thought it was super cool because I thought the guitar sounded like a train. I don't know, it was just kind of those weird things as a 3-year-old that I thought was really cool.
Right on,
And
man.
then,
You still like Randy
of
Rhoads?
course, yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Me and Ludwig
Have you
were
seen like?
butchering some Randy Rhoads solos the other day?
I'm sure you've seen some like footage on YouTube of like, I don't know, you've seen like just him on like sound check on YouTube.
Yeah.
Crazy
And,
stuff,
yeah,
man.
And
Just
playing
like,
classical and stuff.
Yeah.
Some really cool stuff.
yeah, and it's just so little footage of that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You know,
very interesting.
very rare. So, and then you were gonna.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so then when I was kind of a teenager, I started playing guitar when I was about 12. And so when I was a teenager, I started...
What was your first guitar?
First guitar was a blue Squire Strat that I still have. It's covered in
sweet.
stickers. It was actually my dad's guitar. My dad doesn't really play guitar, but he
Oh,
had
right
it.
on.
And when I was a kid, I
Just
was,
picked it up.
Yeah, I was into sports and stuff, and then I kind of decided I hated it. My mom was like, well, you have to pick something to do. And I was like, okay, Dad has a guitar, right? I'll just play that. And so not the most inspiring story for picking up the guitar, but,
But now you play it telly.
Yeah, I mostly play it telly.
Cool.
But then, when I was a teenager, I got a lot into metal and hard rock and stuff, and Paul Gilbert was one of my favorite guitar players. So for me, he's kind of
Righteously.
the second
So,
one that
yeah.
I always go to. And he's how I found out about MI.
Oh yeah, he's graduated.
Yeah, so that's,
Right on.
I saw some ad in a magazine or something with him promoting that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. So, he's the reason I wanted to study music. And then the third one I always go to is always just Stevie Ray Vaughan because.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely get that from your playing.
Yeah, thank you. You know,
Yeah,
the thing about
especially
him-
the sound that you get.
Yeah, you know the thing about him for me is just that.
Do you use a compressor for that?
I don't most of the time actually.
Oh, really?
I really don't use one very often.
Interesting. It sounds like it though. A little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just your playing.
So, but you know, with Stevie, it's one of those things that he's just one of those people that every time he ever played, he was always going for it. He was always in it. You know, he was never kind of
Yeah,
holding
you
back.
know, he used to play with like gnarly gauge strings.
Yeah, like-
They're like almost bass strings.
Yeah,
on
just beating the crap out of the guitar.
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
that's what I love about him. You know, it's never holding back, which I think is really cool. You
Yeah, dude. Well, those are pretty good damn influences right there, for guitar, which explains. So, where are you from originally?
know? I'm from Georgia.
Georgia.
From a small town in
Did you
Georgia.
play in bands before
Yeah,
coming
I
out
had
of here?
a band in high school and stuff, and
What kind of music you guys play?
we were like a metal band.
Metal,
Yeah.
right on. Cool. You
Yeah.
still like playing? Do you guys ever play heavy stuff? Like
I do. I have a band that I still play like rock metal with. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's what kind of metal that are you into? There's so many kinds of metal. Like today, I was learning about grindcore.
Grindcore.
Have you heard? You've never heard of grindcore?
I've heard of that.
I saw it in a movie. But actually, no. Like kids that I hang out with that are young,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I'm in a grindcore band," and then I saw it in a movie, and I'm like, "I heard that from that kid." So I actually like
Weird.
Googled it,
Grindcore.
and
Yeah.
and it's like the gnarliest music, and it's just all like. I heard it on my iPhone, and I thought my iPhone was kind of crappy. It's just like, and there's just so many, and there's like deathcore, and then all
Yeah.
these kinds of metal. So I'm like, so many kinds.
Yeah.
What kind of metal are you
I
into?
mean, for me, I always grew up on more kind of classic metal. You know.
Right on.
Like the
Are you into
Ozzy's,
Maiden?
Dios. Yeah, Maiden, of course.
Hell yeah, me too, man.
Pantera, just anything like that.
Me too, man.
Was kind of what I was all
Good
about.
shit, good shit. Well, we definitely have to jam. We
Yeah.
have the same kind of rock influences.
Yeah.
But do you ever get into like rock stuff, like before metal, classic rock?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what made you get the telly?
The telly. I had a teacher who had a telly, and he was just, one of the big things I learned in school was kind of how to be diverse, how to fit a lot of styles. And at the time, I was using a guitar that didn't have a tone knob and just had two really loud humbuckers in it. And I couldn't really be very diverse with that.
Whoa, what kind of guitar is that? It's just a straight up metal
I think
guitar.
I had a Charvel. It was my Charvel, yeah.
Ah,
That's the one I was
sweet.
using most of the time. But it's like kind of hard to play jazz on a Charvel,
Yeah.
So,
I want to get like an '80s guitar right now.
yeah.
Seriously, yeah, with scalloped frets.
Yeah.
With one pickup and one knob.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And like it's like the old Floyd Rose
Yeah.
without the locking.
Right. Yeah.
That's my new dream guitar. I don't know. I want to be back in the '80s.
Yeah.
Right now. Cool, man. So, Nate, let's pass it to Gabriel, the
The Gabriel.
the bass player.
I like the Gabriel better.
The Gabriel. I dubbed you.
That is my name.
So, you're a really good bass player as well.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
so, what made you play bass?
Well,
From Venezuela. So you came from Venezuela to here, to
Yeah.
LA. Okay.
yeah, I came here to go to school at MI. And, well, I guess the reason I got attracted to bass is, well, my main musical influence in my life is my dad. Like, it really is, like my dad is definitely a connoisseur of and well, my musical upbringing growing up was basically his musical upbringing. I was not listening to what people my age were listening, but I was listening to like Jethro Tull and
Oh,
Genesis
really?
and Jazz.
So he was a rocker.
He was a rocker, but a very particular, nerdy, dorky kind of rocker.
So
he is
prog rocker.
70s prog rock, and well, obviously the Beatles was like the first,
Uh-huh.
connection to. And I don't know exactly what made me be interested on the bass, but I do remember like the first time I listened to Sgt. Pepper's House Called Band from the Beatles, and I was just looking at the picture because it was in vinyl. My dad had a huge vinyl collection.
Nice.
He doesn't have it anymore, unfortunately. But just looking at the pictures of each one of them, my dad telling me who each one of them was.
So you saw Paul McCartney.
He told me, this is Paul McCartney. It's like he plays with bass. And it's like, and I was like bass. What is that? I don't even know what that is. And like he kind of told me, yeah, just hear it like this. And I realized like I was listening to it all the time. I was never really aware of it.
Yeah.
At that time, like I think it changed the way I listen to music forever. Because I think that's something like I think us bass players have something different. Is that we hear different in that we hear music in a very different way. And so
Yeah.
I was just kind of intrigued by people like Paul McCartney and Sting. Like
Sting.
They sung, but they also play bass, and I.
Do you sing as well?
I don't. I don't sing. But I thought it was very interesting that why do they choose the bass? Like I was, and not that and just.
So you started out with the bass.
No, I went to the school I studied all my life, like elementary, high school, everything. It had it's a very musical private school.
Oh, cool.
And it has like a conservatory, and I studied piano for almost like about 7 years.
Nice. So
That
you're a
was-
pianist as well. Not anymore.
No, not anymore. I do play piano, but I'm not, I don't do what I used to do anymore, which is, being like a classical concert pianist. I did that when I was like a kid. But
Whoa.
at some point, I was.
So you're one of
spoiled
those
by the
kid
power of
prodigies.
rock. and
You needed an axe.
right.
To rock with.
And also, I think, definitely, I'm part of the generation of people who were, transformed by Guitar Hero, and like that was like our, with my friends, with my best friends, that was our main source of entertainment, and we realized, well, we can do this like for real, and we formed a band without even knowing how to play any instrument. My best friend from back home, he kind of knew how to play guitar, and his brothers all were rockers, so we had like a perfect, his house was like a perfect place to rehearse and everything, but he was like, yeah, we need a bass to be like a real rock band, because I wanted to be like a keyboardist or something like that. I was like, no, we cannot be a real band unless we have a bass player. Then later I found out about the Doors, and I realized that I was completely a lie.
Yeah, our band most of the time is just keyboard.
Right.
Bass.
Right.
Yeah.
So but anyway, I just kind of I told my dad, hey Dad, I don't want to have piano lessons anymore. Can I play bass? And it's like, okay. And he signed me up for lessons, and so I don't know, kind of answering sort of that thing.
So who's your favorite bass players that inspire you to play?
Growing up, definitely those bass players that were in the bands that I listened from my dad, like Chris Squire from Jazz.
Oh, hell yeah.
And obviously Geddy Lee.
I used to rehearse. There's a studio out here in Van Nuys. Every time that you go there, the owner's gonna tell you that, yes, rehearses there all the time. But that was when Chris Squire was alive.
Right.
I don't know if they're
He
still.
passed away,
Yeah, I don't know if they're playing anymore.
They do. They have a
Different
I have
bass
a different guy, but yeah, it's not.
I don't know.
It's
How
not
could
Jess,
you
in my opinion?
without Chris Squire?
Yeah,
It's
he
maybe.
He was.
And they don't even have the singer anymore.
Yeah, it's,
So I
yeah,
don't know.
It's almost a
Huh.
completely different band. But
Yeah,
yeah,
completely different
definitely. I was very into bass players that had like a very not bass kind of tone because they have like super bright tone that sounds like almost like a guitar.
Yeah.
And you know they're like super loud and so that was like those were like my main influences at the beginning, and like Steve Harris from Iron Maiden.
Oh, you like Maiden too?
That was my first rock
So you
concert
play with
in my
the
life.
3 fingers,
Well,
like the
I-
galloping.
I mean, with my friends, you know, we did play a little metal for a while, but that was a phase that didn't last. You know, I was already into stuff that was more sophisticated. You know,
Like the prog rock stuff.
yeah, I was, you know, kind of frustrated because I don't
Do you
wanna
like
play
Tony
Master of
Levin?
Puppets. I want to play YYZ by.
Oh,
Rogers.
YYZ.
Yeah, that's the correct Canadian. And but
But Geddy Lee, man, hell yeah.
yeah, he's
What a
he's
badass.
amazing. And
Yeah, have you ever
Sing-
seen Rush live?
I never.
You got to. Are they even together still?
I don't know
Yeah,
if there will ever.
No, they just had. I think they just had their like farewell concert in
Yeah.
LA like
Yeah.
a year ago or something. I think.
Yeah, they're definitely stopping soon if they haven't stopped already.
Neil Peart has.
Oh, right. Something wrong with Neil
Yeah,
Peart.
unfortunately.
But I did see Jess with Chris.
Oh,
and that
there you
was,
go.
That was like, you know, I was almost cried in that concert. 'Cause it was so much. But then, you know, I remember the first time my dad showed me a jazz record called Bright Side's Life, Pat Metheny, and it had Jacob Astorius in it, and I was like,
Whoa.
yeah, anything else I've heard before in my life doesn't make sense. Because it just, you know,
Pales
it was
in
like
comparison.
an atomic bomb, and then that's when I really got into jazz, you know, and then I got into the you know, the funksters, you know, like the you know, I would say nowadays, you know, the people that influence me the most are like, you know, obviously James Jamerson. You know,
Who's that?
he was James Jamerson was the session bass player that played in all the Motown stuff.
Oh, right on.
He's-
Wow.
He's probably the most revered electric bass player in history.
How many hits did he play on?
Like
probably 50.
Hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
Hitsville, USA.
Yeah. And well, him and obviously Jacko and Rocco Prussia from Tower of Power. That's obviously, you know.
Any Latin influences
Well,
since you're from
yeah,
Venezuela?
I gotta say that's something that kind of like attracted me to the bass when I was a kid. It was like, you know, I remember going to this boring weddings and parties that my parents would take me to, and they always, it's very normal to have like a Latin, like a salsa orchestra.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
But I just love how like you could feel in that music, you can feel the bass in like in your chest,
Yeah.
and that.
There you go.
And that, yeah. I didn't get that much to Latin music until I actually got into college and started like studying it and learning.
So
about
you
it.
learned Latin music here in California?
Right. I didn't care about it. But that's very normal in you know, people my age, you know, who nowadays
They're
that
not
music,
into it out there?
that music nowadays is considered a little bit
For
like,
old people?
like old people music.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, a lot of people still, it's like a party music, you know, like normally
Yeah.
party
Right,
music
right.
or, you know, taco food truck music.
Pass the mic on that.
But I mean, just how's Venezuela doing now? Just curious.
Oh, man, you're opening a can of worms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not so good.
I think that's enough said on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on. Well, we're glad you're here and
Yes.
making music here.
Yes.
Class.
Yeah.
I'm glad to.
Absolutely.
Right on. And Julian, the
jeez.
drummer. Right on. Cool, man. So, what made you start playing drums?
There's literally, so, you know, everyone has that, like, kind of dumb story that's like, I listened to this record and it made me want to play music. That actually kind of happened to me. So AC/DC Back in Black.
Hell
That was it,
yeah,
dude. Phil Rudd
dude.
smacking the crap out of that dumb snare drum.
Sweet,
I
man.
can't get it
You know,
off.
he's like the simplest drummer, but so awesome,
Dude,
man.
playing, and that was like the biggest thing. Like, is that like, you know, I think that was the first lesson for me. Is like simple will get you paid. Like obviously, you know,
I'm good.
I like the artistic side of drumming. I like solos and everything, but you know, like drum's main function is to make people like dance and move. You know.
Exactly.
And for me, Phil Rudd, like, you know, starting out, like that was like my first like recital ever.
Right
Playing
on.
Back in Black. Didn't get to the bridge. Never got to the bridge.
So you played it with a band? Or?
No, I was lame. I played with like a karaoke track, you know.
Oh, right on,
I was
right
like 12 or something.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my favorite songs.
Dude, it's-
and to play on the guitar too, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That you know, that's another thing actually. Like being a drummer, like, you know, you don't. There's not as many. Man, a lot of drummers are gonna hate me for saying this, but there's not as many like really memorable drum parts as there are for like guitar or like, you know, like vocals or something. Because the primary function of drums is to like make you groove, but you know, it's not necessarily to be the most memorable.
Right.
thing.
There's no it's not signature. Right?
Yeah, and like all my life, you know, I've always tried to play with like guitar players or like singers or people that I really like to play with and I really like listening to, you know.
Yeah.
Because then I can be lazy and do less work, and they can do all the cool stuff, and I can just like lay it down for them and kind of, you
Right
know, go that route. But,
So
yeah.
from AC/DC to what you're playing now, it's like different.
Yeah. I mean,
so what made you go into playing what you're playing now?
well, you know, I did the whole like, you know, I was into the whole rock thing, like classic rock, like, you know, like Gabe was saying, we are the generation of guitar hero. Like, love it or hate it, it's actually true. But you know, I was really into classic
Not
rock.
Ludwig.
No, he's too old.
Dude, I played Through the Fire and Flames on Xbox.
At like 27.
Through the Fire and Flames, the Dragon Force song. That's right.
And you like tilt the guitar and it goes all blue and it's like, oh god, things are getting real.
Star power, man. Star power.
Do you guys like try to play that song like in music school? Like, hey.
Yeah, I don't think anyone.
I don't even think they
It's
can
like
play
the
that.
No, I can't play it, so I don't concern myself with having to play it.
It's like the modern day Flight of the Bumblebee.
That's actually a really good comparison. Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of
yeah.
is. That's interesting. Yeah.
Right on. So yeah, what's your evolution from AC/DC Phil Rudd to where you're at right now?
Well, growing up, you know, my family's mixed. You know, like I'm white and Asian. My dad's Chinese. My mom's white. And then my half sister, she's black. So like, there was a very interesting kind of mix of music going on.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, it's like the UN, like at my house, basically.
Right on.
You know, she listened to a lot of hip hop growing up because she's like 12 years older than me. She's way older than me. So when I was like young, she was listening to like Tupac and Biggie and stuff like that.
Sweet.
And then my dad was like Woodstock era kind of music, and my mom is dedicated to 94.7 The Wave. So like, you can imagine that kind of screwed me up a little bit. So naturally, I started playing metal.
So that was your first band?
Yeah.
household.
Yeah, I was like, something's missing here. Not everything's represented. This is not cool. So yeah, I started playing metal. Like a lot of these, you know, guys. Like, I don't want to ruin Ludwig's story, but you know, like we're very similar in that we started with metal. You know,
Right on.
And I like listen to like Asking Alexandria and like Attack, all the crabcore.
Oh, there you go, crabcore.
Like third world squatting while you're playing music. But yeah, I got into that stuff, and I was in a few bands, and like we played, you know, we did the whole like pay to play, Whiskey Go Go, and like
You're right. You're a local.
yeah. So you know, so we did all. Yeah, we did all the pay-to-play crap.
Right on. Are you guys playing? Are you still playing with those guys?
Not anymore. A lot of them have moved.
Alright.
Some of them don't play music anymore, but they still, they're like music lovers. Yeah, I haven't talked to them too much, but that was like during high school. Like I would have band practice. So I'm a drummer, so everyone would come to my house. So like literally every day after school, everyone would come to my house, and like my parents were like saints because they were cool with it. And like the first thing we do is we come home, we like practice for like 2 hours, probably the same song, and then we'd like go down and like raid the kitchen and eat everything, and then like we
Awesome.
just sit on the couch and watch TV and then rinse and repeat.
Don't you wish you could go back to that time?
I do. We also had like wicked Unreal, or what is it called? What's that game? Like Unreal Tournament. or
Unreal
something?
Tournament,
Yeah, we had
yeah.
like.
Oh, LAN parties.
Yeah, like not like it was like it was like lame like four like split screen. I always wanted to like dude, bring your Xbox and we'll like link it up and like. But yeah, we used to do that too, and it was like the that was like the biggest thing. It was
Yeah, I miss those days when Dad paid for everything.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like those are. I mean, it's a weird thing, Like I think, I had friends who were like, who didn't play music at all, right? I had those friends, and I had friends like who I, like were, jazz. It's a ringtone. Anyway, but yeah, I had friends who weren't in music at all, and then I had friends who like I had played with like. Since like middle school, we were only doing music, and like we hung out like obsessive. Like they were like my brothers. Like
Yeah.
Like one of my friends almost moved into my house when he was having like problems and stuff. But yeah, like that was like the fellowship of metal kind of like actually like really taught me a lot about music and like working with the band and
Nice.
But then the hip hop and the funk, the stuff I was running away from, the smooth jazz. And some of that stuff started creeping back up when I went to college because I was like, this is kind of cool actually. Sort of cool, depending on what it is. But
So what'd you get into in like?
okay, so hip hop. So I had a weird thing because like I really liked metal, but I also really liked hip hop at the same time. So I would listen to hip hop records, and I'd be like, man, like I love this beat, like, and I like the kind of like jazzy stuff that's happening behind it, but I had no
Yeah.
idea what was going on. Like all I knew was like, this is just hard shit. Like I didn't really know what was going on. So in college, when I actually did start studying jazz and did start studying the samples that they were using in hip hop, is when I started to really get into jazz and funk and that sort of like playing.
Right on.
Like I played like I remember the first quarter. We go on a quarter system at Musicians Institute, so it's like 3
Right.
months. So the first quarter, I was at Musicians Institute. I was just like playing like to Roots records, the Roots.
Right on.
Yeah, the band, band plays for Jimmy Fallon, and they had their own whole career.
Yeah.
The drummer Questlove, he's like
One of the best drummers ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like again that kind of recurring thing, simple but makes you feel something.
Yeah. But like a clock.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, hip hop, is largely programmed drums.
Yeah.
Which, up until like kind of like Jay Dilla stuff was very like metronomic and extremely, quantized.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially like with the era I was growing up with like Lil Wayne and like all that like auto-tune stuff, But yeah, I started getting into that, and then that invariably kind of made me listen to more jazz and kind of pick up different drummers. Like I remember.
Who's your favorite jazz drummer?
Favorite jazz drummer? Probably like either Art Blakey or like.
Hell yeah, Art Blakey.
Yeah. Elvin too, but the thing about Elvin that frustrates me, he's so good that sometimes I can't listen to him. Cause like, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, that sounds kind of stupid, but.
But I don't know. Art Blakey was like the first like wild man on the drums.
Yeah.
Really,
For real. Yeah. He like.
Seriously.
He like
he's,
had that like I remember. I mean.
But he was so talented.
Yes. Like,
But he was just like like a Keith Moon before Keith Moon.
Yeah. Honestly.
crazy.
Yeah. Kind of like he was. He like. I mean. He was kind of. was interesting because he was one of those drummers of that era, you know, like the hard bop era, who started bringing a lot of like African stuff into jazz too, which is
Right.
which when I was younger I'd be like, oh, this is just like a bunch of drums. But then like now, like I'll be driving my car, I'm like listening to like "Ya Ya" by like Art Blakey, and it's like just drums and people chanting "Ya Ya." Yeah, yeah. And, like I pull up at the light and be like, what kind of cult this dude in? You know? But it's kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, I listen to weird stuff.
Night in Tunisia.
Yeah,
Dude, there you
yeah.
go.
And there's that video of him with the Messengers playing "Night in Tunisia," and like he just is it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but like he's like smiling and playing, and it's like his eyes are like looking up. They're not even looking at the audience. And it's like chin's kind of
It's just like having a full-on psychedelic experience.
yeah,
at that
he's
point.
like, I mean, who knows if he was high or not, but he was making such amazing music.
Yeah,
that it, like,
he was high on the music, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Or heroin, who knows?
Oh God,
A bit of both.
Who knows?
he survived kind of
Those
long.
jazz,
though. Yeah.
jazz people back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Um,
cool. So that you're into jazz drummers.
Yeah, I mean, drum set's weird because it's not a very old instrument. You know, guitar. I mean, obviously, electric guitar is a new instrument too, but you know, guitar and those sort of instruments, they've been around for a long time. Jazz, or I should say, drum set is kind of a jazz instrument.
Yeah,
you know.
you're right.
Yeah.
It was developed for that music.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to like, you know, a lot of the stuff from like the early days, like the 20s, or like, you know, like the like early jazz stuff, it kind of almost sounds like just people like smacking stuff. Like it's like a weird kind of like hokey kind of vibe. They haven't figured out like how to play certain things. They don't even have the right technology to play them. You know,
Yeah.
like the kick drum pedal, you couldn't play more than 2 notes. You know, like you had to play like. When people were like keeping the time, they'd always play quarter notes because it's like, I can't do anything more because it's not physically possible. And then
So that's why it sounded like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I would never say I'm a jazz drummer. Like that's a lie. But I would say that I am influenced by jazz deeply, and that it's one of those things that you can always go to and learn so much, and it's always there for you to learn. You know. So that's. So that's kind of
Cool.
where I stand on jazz, I guess.
But that's not only what influences you right now.
No, right. So when my life became ruined was when I got into Steve Gadd.
Hell yeah,
Steve Jordan.
he's my favorite drummer of all time.
Yeah,
Steve Gadd.
dude, Steve Gadd, and you know, like being at MI, they always talk about like versatility, and you know, Steve Gadd is just the dude who like
Yeah.
he'll play with Chick Corea, he'll play with Al Jarreau.
And he's got that Mozambique
yeah.
beat, man.
Yeah, the Mozambique. I mean, actually, for my we have like senior recitals and juries at Musicians Institute for the bachelor's program, which is the program we all did. And I did a song called "Late in the Evening" by Paul Simon, and it's a Mozambique thing.
Right.
And it's like on the toms, and I just remember the first time I heard that, because I'd never heard anything like that. Like I had a really, really amazing teacher, Devin Kelly, and he showed me that stuff. And I was like, how is that one person? Like, how the hell is that possible? You know?
Yeah.
And you know, he came from a jazz background, and he kind of figured out stickings and ways to make it sound like you're more than one person.
Yeah. Steve Gadd's just so cool to me.
He's a badass.
Yeah, for sure. Who's the other guy you said?
Steve Jordan
Steve Jordan.
plays with like we played
John Mayer.
John Mayer.
Ah.
He's one of those.
He's a newer cat then.
Well, he's actually been so he's not as well known, but he's like one of those crazy session dudes. Like I think he started playing on like the what was it, it was the show with Letterman. Thank you. It was he played on Letterman like when he was like 19 or
James
something.
Brown, right?
Scary. Yeah, well he played with James Brown on Letterman in like 1982 or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah, that he's like, you know, he's another one of those guys, like simple but effective.
For the song.
Yeah, even Gadd, like I mean, by
Oh,
today's
yeah.
standards, he's considered simple but
Yeah.
effective.
Yeah, compared to you guys there in MI.
No, I know. Man, I'm just like some dude smacking some stuff compared to Steve. Yeah.
You guys are all really good, for sure. Awesome.
But him and also Adam Deitch. Just want to say that before I pass the mic.
Oh, that guy's
From
that
Lettuce.
guy's really good, man.
Lo-
He's a new cat.
dude. Yeah.
He's like a hip hop drummer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like he's like the genesis of like jazz and funk and hip hop, and like even dubstep stuff. He kind of does that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy's really good.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I love his style.
And Mike Clark is another dude who's like, he's not really well known either.
I don't know.
He's like a funk / jazz dude. But I'm
Right
gonna
on.
stop talking because this is what happens.
About damn time.
The Shady.
All right, sorry. So here we go, Shaylee.
Shaylee.
Hi.
Hi, Shaylee.
Hello.
So you started this band. It's all your fault.
I just needed money for college. Yes.
And you're from Pennsylvania.
I am from a small town in Pennsylvania called Lebanon.
Sweet. And when did you start singing? When
I'm very different from all these guys because
you didn't do metal.
I didn't do metal. No. Shockingly enough.
Because she's good. That's what
That was cool.
I started singing when I was, I don't even know, probably like 5? I don't know, very young. When I was a kid, I never wanted toys. I only ever wanted an amp and a microphone. So I think
Sweet.
when I was like 8, my dad, who is also a singer, got me an amp and a microphone, and I dragged that up to the top of my treehouse, and I sang to my whole
Awesome.
neighborhood, Avril Lavigne.
All right.
And every time she swore, I'd turn down the sound so that the neighborhood wouldn't have to
Wait,
hear those
she
bad
did?
words. Like hell? Yeah, she would say hell sometimes.
Hell. I
When I was
didn't know
8,
that was a
so-
We're in
swear.
LA. You gotta say
When
a
I
lot
was-
to
Okay.
consider
Yeah, when I was
cursing.
8, that's
My
when
wife
we-
actually
we
met
were-
Avril Lavigne. She's a fan too.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, me too. So yeah, when I was a kid, I was really into singing, and I was kind of bred to be a singer. My dad is a fantastic singer. He moved out to LA when I think he was probably like 29 or 28 to pursue a record deal with Sony that they offered his band.
Well, okay.
They did not get to take it and gave the record deal to Poison.
No
So,
way.
yeah, my dad never let me listen to Poison
What a
growing
shame.
up.
So he was he a hair metal
Oh
dude?
yeah, 80s hair metal.
Awesome.
And his band is called Cry Tough, and they've recently started their reunion tour.
Dope.
So yeah,
But they're based out of Pennsylvania.
yeah, York, Pennsylvania.
Ah,
Poison
so I
Poison
didn't know they had a scene out there
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah, whole scene,
Ah,
rural Pennsylvania.
right on.
Yeah, so I started singing from a really young age, but then when I was 11, my dad took me to get some singing lessons from a family friend, and as soon as we had the singing lesson in his home studio, and this guy had a band, and 20 minutes later he was like, "Hey, I need a singer for my band. Will you please be the guest singer?" So I got a job out of that lesson. And so when I was 11, I started...
So you're natural.
No, my parents are just hustlers, I think. And they just got me that job. So then the next day, I had a gig. It was literally the next day.
I mean, for a teacher to get you in his band, that means.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
natural.
So...
She won't say it, but she is.
So the next day, I had my first gig. I was 11, and I had to sing
Whoa.
Respect by Aretha Franklin.
Where did you play at 11 years old?
It was like, this is the most Pennsylvania thing ever. It was at a state champion barbecue.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
awesome. That's my kind
There
of
were
gig.
like 3,000 people there.
Whoa. You played in front of
I haven't played in front of 3,000 people total in my whole life.
Exactly. On your first show.
It was quite the experience. And so my dad took me to this gig. They had a green room, and I had to
So you respect.
respect. I had I think
Awesome.
I had 7 songs that I had to
And
sing
you're
with this band.
11?
I was 11.
You
yeah.
must have been so cute. On the
Yeah, no, that's how I made the money. Was just from how cute I was. And so I did that for 6 years, And then we did like weddings and events and stuff. So I got a lot of gigging experience from that. I truly, truly hated it. It was, in the moment, it was the worst thing ever because
Really?
we played old songs. Like,
Oh, you wanted to
old
play
songs.
Avril Lavigne.
I only wanted to sing Avril Lavigne. Yes. But without the swear words, obviously. And yeah, so I had to sing songs like Going to the Chapel and My Boyfriend's Back and ugh. Those songs. I have horrible memories attached to it. But I'm really glad I did it because even through all of that,
There's
that
a lot of
pain,
harmonies there. Did you do harmonies?
I can't sing chords, surprisingly. So no, I did not sing. Nope. I feel like, so we had, I think it was like a 5-piece band. So we had a keyboard player, me, a guitar player, a drummer, and then a sax player. So I feel like the sax player did one harmony, and then the keyboard player sang the other one. So it was a weird, it was kind of strange. The mix wasn't very good, but it worked.
Cut the
I got
cake.
paid, so.
Tell the cut the cake story.
No.
What's the cut the cake story?
Alright. So, oh no.
Probably
So, the first wedding I ever sang at, I was 12. And so I had to learn a bunch of songs for her. And this was like the keyboard player's cousin or something. So we weren't even getting paid very much. And it was super far away. So I
You're
drove
12.
there. I know.
mean, you're
I'm
probably
12.
getting paid way more than.
So I get there, and we're setting up and stuff, and then the whole reception starts, and I'm supposed to sing the first song. And I was told that the first song was supposed to be At Last. Yeah, I was told that it was supposed to be At Last. So that one starts with vocals, right? So
you sing those?
I started singing it, yeah. And the bride was so wasted. So wasted. And so I'm 12.
Whoa,
and
you're
I'm
belting
starting-
out that song
Well,
at 12 years old?
Yes, I was belting it out. And that was not supposed to be the first song. So the bride, in her drunken glory, threw a piece of cake at me.
What?
She literally ran up to the cake, grabbed it, and threw it at me and said, "That's not supposed to be my first song. It's supposed to be From This Moment On by Shania Twain." Started
Oh my
freaking
God.
out.
What a horrible,
And I was just like,
what a horrible
a
bride.
12-year-old with cake on her face now.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, "From this moment," like, almost crying.
Well,
That was the first wedding I sang at.
you're a pro.
It
Gotta
was
say.
that was a
It's
rough.
like Shakespearean shit right
I
there.
know.
Wow.
It was
Stuff
very
at you.
dramatic.
I feel bad for the husband.
I know.
He has to live with that
I think she had a
person
lot of
for
money.
the rest of his
Yeah.
life.
It was quite
Who
an experience.
throws cake at a 12-year-old?
You have to be that drunk, I think.
I don't know if I'll ever be as drunk to
Yeah.
throw
I
cake
hope
at
not.
Yeah.
I really hope not.
So,
Yeah.
well, any other cooler gigs since then?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, all of my favorite gigs have been with these guys because it's the most fun music that I get to play. And no, it's really, I love this band because it's playing with my friends.
So you guys play a lot, huh?
We play a lot, and we write a lot of songs together. And it's nice to combine. I don't know. It's nice to combine business with friendship. I'm not going to say pleasure.
Yeah.
But
It's pleasing what we do.
If it wasn't for the friendship, I don't know.
so yeah, that's my story.
Right on. So who's your favorite singers now, other than Avril Lavigne?
No, she has fallen to the bottom of the list. Not the bottom.
Bottom 50,
but
bottom 50.
Shit.
Not my favorite. She put out that song. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Something about girlfriend, and I was like,
She cursing.
Ah.
She was cursing way too much for my liking.
Fragile constant.
No, I think my favorite singer is Shaka Khan. I love
Oh.
her.
Cool. Right on.
She's the best.
So while you were in Pennsylvania, you were doing the weddings and stuff till you got here.
So I did the wedding stuff and the events until I was 17. So I did from 11 to 17. I did that, and then I stopped because I was old enough that my parents let me stop, and I really focused on jazz and musical theater because all high school singers have is musical theater basically. And so I did that for a while.
What plays did you do?
I did Les Mis and Cats, which is
Oh,
a
cool.
great musical. I don't care what anybody says. That's a good musical.
All hail the cat so clever.
That is not
Right?
it, but
No?
Yes, I like your version better.
What is it? What is it? What
I don't. Memory all alone in the moonlight. That one.
That's from Cats?
That's
yeah,
good.
that's from
Really?
Cats.
I thought that was
Oh,
from
okay.
School of Rock.
Yeah.
Is that Magical Mr. Mistopheles?
Yes.
Right, that's what I was singing.
I don't.
He got it.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Okay, well that's part of it. I don't know what you were
Right.
saying before.
All hail the cat so clever that's never.
Da, 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 da. Yes, yes, okay.
There you
right.
go.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to.
I know that because my dad used to play that.
Really?
He
That song?
played. He had this cassette of Andrew Lloyd Webber's greatest hits. So I know
And
Andrew
was
Lloyd
on there.
Webber songs.
His shit.
That's a deep cut right there for Cats the musical.
That is a deep
Yeah.
cut. Why don't we do that for next show?
So it's weird. I know it because my dad used to listen.
Huh.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a strange
Musicals.
musical.
What other musicals did you do?
I mean, I did a lot of community theater when I was a kid too. I did Footloose, which was perfect for my
Awesome.
Pennsylvania town. Yeah, I mean, I kind of mostly stuck with jazz for like anything outside of school. And I went to college for one semester in Philly. Go Eagles.
Oh,
And
Those are fighting words.
I went there for one semester, and so like the second week that I was at classes there, I was just like, nah, I'm gonna move to LA anyway. I might as well go now. So
Right on.
I did one semester there, and then I transferred to MI like 6 months later, and the rest is history.
And then you met these guys, and now you're touring and stuff.
Yes,
Doing it. Doing the thing.
doing the thing.
Cool. Right on.
Cool.
All right.
Right now.
The other guitar player.
Oh, yeah! Here we go! MVP!
Everybody has been waiting for this.
Oh,
You've had a lot of time to think, so it better be good.
I'm Prophet the Ludwig answers that question.
the Swede, who's the
Swede. Yeah.
6 foot tall Swede. All right, Ludwig, right?
Yeah, Ludwig.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you play a Strat.
Yeah, it's not a Fender Strat, but yeah, Strat type. Yeah.
What is it? Is it
It's a Tom Anderson.
Oh, right on. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And so you are from Sweden and you find yourself in Los Angeles. How'd you get here? And
Through the school, actually. I found the school through actually a music teacher in my high school. He went here through part of this exchange program that MI does with a school up in northern Sweden, Piteå. And so he was here, and then he recommended the school. You know, and I was kind of sick of Sweden. So I knew I wanted to go somewhere, and sunny California seemed good. And,
pretty nice, huh? What do you
I would
think?
go here and play music, so I applied, I came in, you know. As Shaylee said, the rest is history.
Yeah. So what made you start playing guitar?
Well, my mom had an old acoustic that I just picked up, started playing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just right on. And what kind of guitar players influence you?
Well, my story is quite similar to Nate's, even though we're very different in the way we kind of play, I think.
Yeah.
But I grew up on classic rock, Deep Purple,
Oh,
Black
hell
Sabbath,
yeah.
Iron Maiden,
I love those names.
Randy Rhoads, the same name, you know, it's
Yeah.
a huge influence.
And Richie Blackmore.
Richie Blackmore, man, he's incredible. So yeah, Iron Maiden. Listened to a lot of Iron Maiden. I think I've seen them live like 6 times.
Oh, right on.
And that happened in like the span of like I don't know, not too many years.
I don't know.
Chased them around.
I've never been to Scandinavia, but I don't know. Metal is fitting for some reason with all the snow, I guess, and
Well, yeah,
the
I don't know, we seem to
darkness,
crank out a lot of
the
it.
darkness, and the.
Yeah, you know, you got all that anger.
You gotta
Yeah.
Kind of cathartic.
So yeah, no, this is definitely great metal coming up. I mean,
Definitely,
one of my favorite
definitely.
bands is In Flames.
Oh yeah, In
I
Flames.
just think are phenomenal. I don't listen a whole lot to metal anymore. Don't play it at all.
Mm.
But I still come back to it. It'll always be part of me, I guess.
So, do you have any bands in Sweden?
Yeah, I played in a metal band too. In high school, played a lot of shows, wrote original music. Had a little friend had a little, it wasn't a garage, but kind of like a little basement where we used to play really, really freaking loud
Right on.
all the time, terrorizing the whole neighborhood. And it was just great, just great friends, just playing metal, drinking beer, having fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Likely story.
So you could drink beer in high school out there.
You can always drink beer.
Even out here. Huh?
Sneaky.
Cool. So what made you start listening to other
Well,
music
I think,
other than metal?
I mean, definitely changed after coming to MI. You get exposed to just everything, both in terms of other students, but other teachers. I think the funk thing for me was mainly in large part to a teacher called Ross Bolton, the late great Ross Bolton. Unfortunately, passed away years ago. But it was just he played with Algero, for example, and just incredible teacher, incredible player. And he also played with Tom Anderson. That's actually the reason why I got a Tom Anderson. But so he introduced me to a lot of funk, and I was
Cool.
just super fascinated by rhythm guitar, and just started playing a lot of rhythm guitar. And
What did he introduce you to? The Meters?
yeah, everything, the Meters, Tower of Power, James Brown, obviously. Just played a lot of rhythm guitar with him. I used to sit in his open counselings every week. He didn't teach a lot. He pretty much had a funk class. He had open counseling. And every week I'd be in there. We'd be, just a small group of people just playing 16 notes, man. Literally, and I just got super fascinated by that, part of the guitar, not just always soloing, playing leads. And,
So you're into rhythm right now?
absolutely, I think that's, just grooving.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you're right. It's the groove that it's playing for the song.
Yeah, for the song, and gelling with the other people in the band,
Yeah.
figuring out those pockets, interlocking with the rest of the band,
Yeah.
just making it happen collectively.
Yeah. And it's actually, it's easier to just solo, and just do your thing. But it's a lot more involved to actually play the song the way it's supposed to be played,
Yeah, I mean, there's a totally different element to the guitar, I suppose, but
Discipline.
Huh?
Discipline.
yeah, which I don't.
That's for damn
Ideally.
He likes the concept of discipline.
I do like the concept of this.
Sorry, hijacking.
Yeah.
Cool. So, who's your favorite guitar players?
Well, now these days, like I said, Jimi was obviously
Jimi
incredible.
Hendrix?
Yeah. One of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Hell yeah.
And Pink Floyd. So, David Gilmour.
Wow.
So,
But he's... You like him for his rhythms? Or his
I
soloing?
like him for everything he
Yeah.
does. I mean, his guitar
Yeah,
parts,
definitely
his
me too.
soloing. I mean, he's such an expressive player. His tone,
Yeah.
his, the band, his songwriting, just everything about that band and about him. I think his singing, I just love everything about it.
Yeah. Right on. Cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Come to MI, getting exposed to John Scofield.
Oh, cool.
Listening a lot
Cool.
to him. It's just incredible. But,
Cool.
I guess I don't listen to a lot of guitar players listen a lot to other guitar players. I've never really been like, I mean, well, obviously I mentioned a lot of them, but it's always in the context of a song. You know, I never listened so much to like, you know, Steve Vai and Satriani, and I did listen to Yngwie, but not a whole lot. But that's maybe a little bit Swedish bias. But he is.
You're
a
right.
fucking
He is a
monster.
Swede.
So,
Have you heard of Ghost?
No.
You've never heard of Ghost?
Ghost BC?
Dude, yeah, Ghost BC.
Are they Swedish?
They're Swedish.
What?
They're one of my favorite bands.
I thought they were American. Oh, I didn't know that.
No,
Wow,
they're
I didn't-
Swedish. Dude, the Swede doesn't know Ghost, dude.
I think
The
you're
Americans
Yeah.
know Ghost.
I know. Weird. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta check them out. I think you'll dig them.
Ghost BC.
Yeah,
Where
they're
is
like
that?
one of the,
Cool.
like, yeah, one of the
People
best
don't know who they are.
metal bands.
Like,
if you're
they
like,
don't know their fate.
They don't know their identities.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
early
they have
Slipknot.
masks.
Oh, they're like,
on.
oh really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they're
they haven't revealed
characters.
who they are to people.
Where?
Okay.
yeah.
It's like very Sabbath-esque, you know,
Yeah.
real like slow.
Dude.
And
Well, their new stuff. Have you heard of their new
I
stuff?
haven't heard any of their stuff. No.
Their new stuff is not like
It's
that.
not like that
no,
anymore? Oh,
it's
interesting.
like really. It's a little more progressive. Yeah.
Interesting.
Cool.
I'll have to
He's
check
in
it
it.
out.
That's why he doesn't heard of it, because he's in the band.
Oh, I don't know.
He's
This
one of the-
ghost you're talking
One
about.
of the ghouls. The nameless ghouls.
Yost? Is that you pronounce Yost?
Sounds lame.
So any other Swedish bands that we should check out that you know?
ABBA.
Love ABBA.
Mamma mia.
Swedish bands. I mean, there's a lot of Swedish. There's a lot of good Swedish pop music.
Oh yeah.
Roxette. Yeah, sure. He actually, the main guy in Roxette, had another Swedish band. It's a huge Swedish band. But I mean, a lot of his music isn't sung in Swedish.
It's in English.
No, it's sung
Oh,
in Swedish.
oh,
you know, so I
I
guess
see.
it's not
It is-
really accessible the same way. But yeah,
Who
Swedish
else is
band.
like-
I know what's popular out here is like the metal bands.
Yeah, I mean, so apart from there's a lot of metal, but there's a lot coming out from Sweden.
Oh, Refuse. Do you know Refuse?
No,
Do you know
I
Refuse?
don't know.
no.
I haven't
Oh.
heard of them either, yeah.
They're,
Refuse.
they're really good
Sounds
bands.
like a metal band.
No.
No?
They're like a hardcore punk progressive.
Whoa.
Okay, so it's not a swing group,
Yeah,
at least.
really cool from the 90s. You'll dig it. Check it out. I know more Swedish music than you.
Because he's Norwegian. Just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
Is Europe from Sweden?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Europe.
Oh,
yeah.
Europe. Oh.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Every marching band's wet dream.
Cool.
Say that.
All right. So this is for everyone, I guess. What are you guys up to as a band right now? What's the answer to that?
We are gigging. A lot of gigging. We actually recently played a show in Morro Bay.
Oh,
And
sweet.
That was so fun.
Nice.
So we definitely
Beautiful
want to
place.
get back up there some more. That was so fun. We're also, we're writing. We're doing a lot of writing right now. And we are putting out a video in the near future.
Sweet.
Yeah, like a.
Right
We're
on.
doing like a cover video for, we switched up a Doobie Brothers song.
Oh,
gosh,
cool.
I was like-
Which one?
Long Train Running.
Ah.
But it's like super cool.
Ah, right
And
on.
so we're putting out a cover for that. And really what we're trying to do is figure out a way of making music fast, so that we can keep our content coming out. Yeah, we would just want to have all up-tempo songs.
200
We're in the
BPM.
shop trying to figure out 150 BPM. We think we've cracked the code.
That's the grindcore. Is like 200 BPM. It's like
Everything at 200 BPM, yes. Yeah.
So are you guys? Do you have a record?
We do. We have an EP called Glory Days. It has 4 songs on it.
And where can they find it?
You can find it on
Spotify.
Spotify, Apple
Spotify.
Music. Tidal for that one person out there who's listening
Larry.
that uses that.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, if you're listening.
And when did that
And
come out?
That came out in 2016, so like the later half of 2016.
Oh, cool.
We're due for another, so please purchase that so that we can fund it. And yeah, we have it on like iTunes and
Right on.
all of the major streaming services.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're like she said before. We put out our first record to kind of like just let people know we exist, and kind of we were eager to just get something out there. Right now we're transitioning into kind of focusing more on putting out like single songs, not necessarily like an
Records,
EP or
yeah.
related to each other. Kind of like like back in the day, just because the way things are now. You could put out an EP,
Yeah.
and people are like, oh, that's cool for a month, and then it kind of like goes over their heads.
Right.
Versus if you put out a single song, like once in a while, you can stretch out, like
Yeah.
so that's
Stay in people's consciousness longer.
exactly that's the vibe.
Right on.
We're kind of changing. I don't know the record we did. Like it's still representative of what we are, but we definitely have changed a lot.
Your sound's evolving now.
Yeah, I think like.
Into progressive fusion.
There you go.
That's it,
dubbing
there you
dubbing things. all
Yeah,
right.
Okay, with the one line.
Yeah, but like I think one of the things that will always influence us, I think in my opinion, is two bands: is Steely Dan, that will always influence
Hell
us,
yeah.
and Rufus and Shaka Khan, just because of like the energy and like Shaylee's. Shaylee does have a similar thing going on, different but similar, vocally. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
When's
Same
your
but not the same.
When's your next shows?
We have, excuse me, we have two shows coming up. In March, we have the show with this really cool Afro funk band, Mestizo Beat. That's going to
Cool.
be at
I like that name.
Lucky Strike for their Friday Funk Night in Hollywood. Lucky Strike in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. They're having bands there now.
Yeah, they're doing a
It's
thing.
so
We've
awesome.
played there like
Yeah.
3 times.
2 times.
Two times. This will be the 3rd time.
Cool.
So it's It's
So they
super
do
cool.
they build a stage there? Or?
They have a stage there. The sound guy's really great. It's next to the
Sweet.
bowling alley. It's a really cool hang. It's
Free?
nice. It's free.
Oh, really?
Cheap people. Yeah, it's free. Which
What
is
nights do they have bands?
they have it Friday. Friday's the
Friday
free
nights?
funk night. They have
Oh,
other shows,
cool.
but I don't know if those are free necessarily.
Mm,
But the ones we've been doing, that's the free thing.
dope.
We have a gig March 24th.
Mhm.
Yeah. March 24th in Santa Clarita at the Main, which is like this new venue they have out there. We played there one time. They called us back, so we're gonna do that. We have another gig in May, I believe. I can't remember the date. I think it's May 5th.
I don't know.
Okay, check the website. But it's in May, so it's like a long time. It's in May, and it's at this brewery in Paso Robles. So we got that going on.
Where's Paso Robles?
Paso Robles is kind of up there. It's like by it's like Central Coast, like like
Another
like-
road trip. Sweet.
Yeah, yeah. We've been trying to get up there more because it's it's nice
Yeah.
up there. And,
Yeah,
pay
get
is
the
good.
music. Spread the music.
Yeah, people are great
Yeah.
up there. You should check it out, man. They're really cool up there.
Yeah, cool.
What's the website?
Yeah, where can they find you online?
www.prussiaband.com. We have
One word.
videos.
What do you? How do you spell that? Prussia.
Prussia.
It's like spelling bee.
I got really
Prussia.
nervous actually.
Use it in a sentence.
And it's not the country. It's King of Prussia
Yeah.
in
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Yes, that's
It's
that's
short
the
for that.
origin.
But
Pennsylvania's very German, so I don't know.
I
Could
see.
be.
Yeah, if you track
Really?
the origin of the city, you eventually end up in Prussia.
There we go.
The people are from there. I
Yes.
see.
Exactly. There. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this. This is just like a random thing. There's this like I think like this video game or something, and it's like it's one of those like I don't know. No. But check it out. So
See it on Reddit.
no, I did not. I saw it on our YouTube. Someone commented on our YouTube
Okay.
and was like, "Oh, I thought this was a Prussia meme," and at first I was like, "What? There's memes for Prussia? dead ex-Germanic country. And then I realized that there's this video game that's kind of like, it's like one of those like empire kind of building video games. And like, I guess there's like memes for like countries, and that's one of the memes. So we're getting that meme traffic.
There you go. Right on.
on YouTube.
Perfect.
Because everybody who plays old Empire games loves funk music and loves going outside.
So you guys are on social media as well. Where can they find you?
Yes, Shaylee, you want to?
All right.
Prussia _band.
Cool. On
Everywhere.
Instagram,
Everywhere.
Facebook.
Instagram,
Snapchat, we don't have Snapchat.
Twitter. I mostly just
Not
tweet Nate's thoughts because they're hilarious.
I just say random things at home and she thinks they're funny. They're usually not.
No,
Yeah.
they are hilarious.
Oh, cool.
Decide
And
for
Gabe.
yourself.
Gabe has some good quotes too.
Yeah, you got some cool one-liners.
We have reached musical nirvana. That's one of them.
Whoa, that
Yes.
sounds awesome.
It was when we got the ending right of a song we had been
It's
working
like that
on for
right
like
there, that
4
picture.
hours.
That was
Oh, it just came together.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yes, you did.
Like a
You
DMT
said that
trip.
we were doing like a single bar, the last bar of some song, I don't know what, over and over and over again, and finally we got it right.
We're probably
And you
writing,
said-
that's why.
You were like, "That's it, we're done. We've reached musical nirvana. We can go."
Smart fella.
All right.
Mark Miller. Ludwig, why would you say that?
I didn't hear it.
Smart fella, fart smeller.
Oh my god.
Alright, we did it.
I like that. But you guys are lucky because you guys get along.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like in a band, you guys are having a good time together. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep fighting the good fight. And thanks
Oh,
for
we'll
coming
be
out,
fighting,
guys.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks,
thank
man.
you so much for
thank you
having
very
us. This
much.
was fun. Yep.
PrussiaBand.com.
Yep,
Yes.
that's it.
All right, check them out, and thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Outro music. Yeah, exactly. Some sort of. Let me out, Johnny.